Move to a wider issue now. As Transnet's wage dispute drags on, South Africa's export sector is set to lose millions of rands. Workers say they will intensify their strike action until their demands are met. Transnet is offering an increase of between 3% and 4%. Workers are demanding at least 12%. While unions and the state-owned entity met with the CCMA to try to find a resolution. eNCA's Nqobile Madlala was on the ground talking to those affected. Nqobile, there's word that another union may be joining this strike. Tell us what's the latest.
Well, at this point, what we have heard, Anley, is that the organization Change and Logistics has decided that they also want to go drop a memorandum of demand to Transnet. They feel that they have not been acknowledged. They also feel that they have not, their problems have not been attended to. They're saying that as a trucking industry, this affects them greatly. They have work that they need to do, and it has been at a standstill for so long. So they're now deciding that they are going to be going to Transnet again. This would be the second time that they're dropping a memorandum, but this time around they're saying that they are going to give them a certain amount of time, which may be or maybe less than 2 days at this point, and they want them to respond to the issues. And now these issues include the fact that they've had their trucks stand in queues for quite a long time. But at the same time, they're saying that, having spoken to us a bit earlier on, they're saying that their trucks have been grounded for so long, which means that they are paying their employees to do nothing. And at the same time, they are losing money. I mean, you'll know that already quite a number of business bodies have come out to say that there's potentially billions will be lost from this protest action, from this strike action. And therefore, it is in the best interest of Transnet to look into these issues. And so the trucking industry is not holding back at this point. Anley, they're saying that they want Transnet to get their house in order and essentially make sure that they're also taken care of, strike or no strike. Let's listen in.
Our action today is to peacefully, gather so that we can show the employer that we are actually enough with the mind games that they are playing. Maybe if I can share with you is that we started with the wage negotiations late by June. It's when we only started. Normally we start around November, December with the wage negotiations for the implementation on the 1st of April. But in this time, the employer, they drag their feet for the purpose we don't know why.
No,
and they came to the table with only 1%. Then they came on the second round, third round. Then they up the
the trucking industry is on the second question, but that's fine. We can still talk about how the trucks are affected.
Because if one can check the inflation currently is sitting at 7.4%. And with 1.5%, what are we going to do? So then we serve the employer with 48-hour notice on the 3rd of October 2022. But unfortunately, then diplomatically, the employer, they are trying to undermine the power of the employees. They also undermine or inflate their rights as conferred in Section 23 of the Constitution of South Africa by diplomatically now raising a lot of issues to say our strike is unprotected,
Our trucks are grounded. Our fleets are sitting in our yards. We're unable to get the trucks to the port, unable to pick up the containers. We're busy actually paying our drivers to sit in the yard. But it's also a strike affecting the Transnet, and further to that is also the container movements, the booking system that's on the past has affected us. It is a problem all around. As Moshe mentioned last week, that is all hunky-dory fine at the port. It is not. In fact, from last week, our trucks have been grounded. We've been deprived any option to pick up our containers from the port. Shipping lines are getting in, they're getting out, they're moving, they're evacuating the containers, but we're not getting the chance to do so.
Nqobile, Transnet and unions have been locked in mediation at the CCMA all day today. Has there been any headway made so far? What's been the result at the end of day one?
Well, at this point, Anley, what we're hearing from some of the unions that are part of that, or the people that are listening in, are telling us that at the moment it's still ongoing. There's still quite a lot that the workers still want to be done. So from where we're standing, we are waiting to hear what will be the way forward for tomorrow. But of course, this could continue on for quite some time, because you'll remember this is a negotiation where they need to come to an amicable solution, as all the workers have asked for that. You remember that this impacts over 21,000, or estimated over 21,000 workers that are with Transnet. So this is something that they want to handle with care, and they want to make sure that they do get that 10% that at this point they have dropped from 15% to 10% too. So they're saying that what they're asking for is that they want they want a wage that is the increase that is over 7%, which we know that at this point is the inflation point. And they're saying that quite a number of people that are earning quite less at Transnet won't even get to see that amount if they stick to the 3% or the 4%, because that could potentially mean about 140 Rand for some people. For others, it could mean 800 Rand. So the difference is quite big. So this will mean that the unions needs to make sure that everybody at this point does win in terms of the people that they're representing, but at the same time they want to ensure that Transnet does continue to work. I mean, quite a lot of them have highlighted that they do want their work and they do want to continue working. Even on that march that we joined with COSATU, which is not so long ago, they did say that they do still want to work, but they're concerned about what is happening at Transnet and PRASA. At this point, we are focusing on Transnet, but of course they're saying that they still want to continue working together. They just united in one voice in ensuring that they are affected, yes, but they want an amicable solution going forward so that not everybody has to pay for what is currently happening.
Nqobile, unions have threatened that the strike action will be intensified if their demands are not met. Have they elaborated on exactly what that would mean?
Well, Annelie, at this point, we have been told that we will know on the day in terms of what is the way forward. But we were told that they are willing to stand outside and continue with their striking action. And you'll know already that this had a certain amount of impact to Transnet. I'll tell you, in the morning, Annelie, when we were driving into Transnet, we already saw some of the tracking of the truck drivers that were standing outside and just asking where should they go back to, because they were being told to drive back. So you can imagine the amount of impact this already has to somebody that has to deliver at the hub. If that terminal is the one that is affected. We already heard from Transnet that there is a terminal that is affected, and this is the one that has containers. And you know, various things are put on containers, and a lot of people still want to know what will be the way forward. We have heard from the agriculture industry, we have heard different bodies also coming out and saying that this could have a huge impact on the currency as well as on our economy as well. So this is a big impact it could have to South Africa. So they want to ensure that this is done as quick as possible. However, workers did say that the 10% is their last resort. They are not going below the inflation, and so they will stand outside if that is what is needed for them to continue these conversations. But of course, we are being told that even these conversations, Annelie, is one that has been ongoing for quite some time. They have been highlighting to the employer that they do need this increase, but it's been something that has been ignored, and so they feel that at this point, united, it would be much more highlighted, and perhaps the employer will have that impact of understanding what this means for them if they continue.
Well, thank you very much, eNCA's Nqobile Madlala, bringing us that story from Durban.